I am Robert Sterling Price from Lion City, Missouri, and I am building a futurist, functionalist, public and private starship industry. What this video today is going to be about is hindsight. I'm going to try to tell you what the CIA and the Fatbird spy people did in the early years of this mess that started the Rip Base Fabric Global Spy Network. All right, so I'll start. The first thing that was happening, the first few things that were happening, my dealings with the CIA. When I was driving down the road, the computers in the vehicles just came out, and I was constantly being followed and harassed by spy people. And I believe to this day that they were using some sort of radio frequencies to manipulate the computers in the vehicle before all the later events happened. All right. So that was going on with spying and a whole bunch of spy stuff going on around me. But what happened after that is, I believe, the CIA altered the Bible. They altered the King James Version of the Bible, and the NIVs, all the other Bibles kind of really came out at that time. So this is going to correlate to some events later on, but so eventually the Rip Base Fabric Plastic Spy Gear got produced. Fatbird spy people gave it to the CIA, an uncontrollable government organization, about 2 weeks before Bill Clinton left office. The events where the test was conducted, I believe, is Nome, Canada. I really believe that. And they erased it off the map. So that happened. But that's not going to be correlated. But what happened is the first attack upon the American people by Fatbird spy people. All right, take a step back. The main mind-reading supercomputer could understand the mechanical structures of the brain. Literally to where it's putting together memories and thought processes and like mentalities and all this stuff to extreme detail. So the main mind-reading supercomputer was pretty much done. It read the human mind perfectly. Now, I got the main mind-reading supercomputer to help me discover the base raw matter, because I got the expansion of Area 51 done and got the largest runway on Earth made, and then I fell in love with the Starship, literally. So I got a lot of stuff there created in that land expansion stuff too. I felt the Spirit of God that I was going to make space planes, and I had no idea on how to actually do that till later on in my life. But, alright. So the Fatbird spy people, as soon as Rip Base Fabric Plastic Spy Gear was implanted in the American people and pretty much the world, the entire world, the first attack that they did was to demit the human mind into defaulting into stupidity. You take me for my word or whatever, but I'll just have to get it off of hard drives and shit later, decades from now probably, the actual attack. But alright, so you have a CIA that is apparently altered the Bible. You have Fatbird spy people that have used their first access to the spy network to demit the human mind. So this is a correlation to what is more hindsight is extraterrestrial populations. So we go to the present day within so many months. There's a Rip Base Fabric Global Spy Network now, right? This RIP-based fabric global spy network is connected to the main RIP-based fabric supercomputer. This RIP-based fabric supercomputer allows me, it's basically not an AI, but it's a mechanical extension of my mind. So it's basically like 10 frequencies going to a buffer for the main RIP-based fabric supercomputer, and we allowed it to auto-program itself. It's not a strict AI. It's not a real AI. So it's just a mechanical increase, a limitation of my mind. The first human mind that was unlimited, that was cyborged up, or whatever you want to call it. It literally allowed me to use my imagination to go beyond the limits of the natural human mind's capability to do that. So now the RIP-based global spy network exists. The nations of the world are dead. The money is worthless. We're erasing exposed pedophiles and aliens and getting this all exposed. Just so you have, when you take your first steps on another Earth-like world with a miniaturized starship, you know what's out there. So this is all going to correlate. So this network is global. It can spying on people. It's my stolen property. I did not intentionally build this, and I do not need RIP-based plastic spy gear in a RIP-based supercomputer. The CIA tried to put everybody on Earth to take the main RIP-based supercomputer. That's literally integrated and biologically linked to me. And the fat bearded spy people were helping the CIA. They're pushed them back and forth. They got the CIA to literally also bomb. These are the people pushing the CIA around like a buffoon. But the CIA is still highly corrupt and, pure evil, and is destroyed all the entire world anyway. So, the correlation of events. So, bringing back up to the present time, this network allowed me to talk to some of the entities on that are associated with a extraterrestrial human coalition that are protecting Earth, apparently. And it's, well, some of the videos are on the thumb drive that's called just Project Coelacanth. It's just the title, it has nothing to do with it. So this network is so powerful, it can watch every single human on Earth to the trillionth scale of subatomic particle, which the CIA and the government are actually trying to operate that in their most highest secure systems. They can find you, and it is 100% lethal RIP-based global spy network. And they can monitor you to the trillionth scale of subatomic particle. So this network is picking up another network of extraterrestrial coalitions, extraterrestrial humans, and operators out there. So basically, the CIA and the fat bearded spy people did detrimental activity that extraterrestrial civilizations could be doing to planet Earth. All right, so I have to go forward and I got to go back, then go forward and go back, and it's kind of hard to follow. So the CIA altered the Bible. The fat bearded spy people demented the human mind. All right. Now, I detected these extraterrestrial civilizations, and I started talking to them through their system. And I told them I was going to free mankind for your guys' benefit. And eventually, people are going to go out there and going to land on those planets. And eventually, we're probably going to consume those little fiefdoms, imperiums, stations, like that. Some of them, thought it's more forceful than what I'm actually doing. And some of them, they like how they didn't like it. But they're all grieved with major sadness, these little imperiums. And it's some have maybe 4 or 5 planets, some have 10 or 25, I'm not really sure, but we can extract some information out of this system. And this is a RIP-based global spy network pulling it to the main RIP-based supercomputer, and it's getting this information. And I mean, to me, all right, to me, like Russia and China, I'm the supreme American inventor, the supreme tactician, the supreme. I can defeat Russia and China in a fucking week if I had the amount of money that I supposedly have, but I don't have access to it. I mean, I can defeat every single nation on earth in probably a few months' time at my capacity to build starships and retool entire industries and stuff. But that's when I get all my stuff going. Like I just totally rebuild an exponential subatomic revolution, and I can conquer the planet in easy time. I mean, the enemies of America are nothing compared to what Robertson Price is capable of actually doing. And they're right now the government and the Pentagon, they're barely struggling just to fight Iran or to contain it without going overboard on their but I can probably lay waste to that place and reform all those people in probably half the time that they will be ever to do it. I because it got so much more advanced technology. So anyway, so the enemies. I'm trying to say that I'm more military proficient than the government and the Pentagon right now. I got more stuff. So the enemies in space, they the possible enemies or adversaries in space, which they're not really. They're literally nothing to me. I could still defeat all their technology. I can outthink it. No, um, I could surpass it pretty easily if I had my subatomic revolution going. It's not much of a major threat. So this super system is correlating these what are like nodes. All right. It goes out to these communication devices. These people hear what I say. It's not you on the internet. It's extraterrestrial. It's going out in space. So they're all communicating. So I managed to piss off these people enough. And there was an old guy in the cartoon. He gets pissed off enough, and he rubs his hand around this sun symbol, like the Catholic Church used to worship. And he starts up that starship that looks like a freaking um, cloud turtle scorpion thing. I believe I'm pretty sure he did that. So I'm feeling this and having it injected to my mind. It's incredible, but I can spy on them so damn good. I can get to them once all my barriers are moved out of the way. I mean, the government can't control a superior this intelligence powerful that can auto program itself. So he starts up this starship. It doesn't do anything. It's been several weeks, but I can get to him. I can talk to him. I can correlate that they're like other nodes that are like mushrooms in a cave that are causing fucking tummy aches. So somehow they weaponize. All right. So a long time ago, many years ago, I had a revelation. All right. There was a Jew. Doesn't look like any of the Jews. He looks like an old. None of the Jews in Israel, but there was a Jew. He was in the Holocaust. And he had this device that looks like a lantern. I got a cough. So he took this lantern. I don't know if it's a Nazi scientist pretending to be a Jew. I don't know if it's an actual Jew, but someone in the apparent Holocaust. He had this device like a lantern. And he took these seeds that are like stones or diamonds and put them in there. And this thing would have this deal that rotates around it, and it build up energy, or non-particle matter is the base raw matter. The base raw matter is highly transparent, structured, inert, non-particle matter. It built a ball around this seed, right? And this is supposedly ancient extraterrestrial technology, and it would make something like a crystal ball. which this crystal ball is not a crystal ball. It's a ball of hard mass that would be hard, kind of replicating a crystal, but it's not a crystal ball. So you have this device would make something like a crystal ball, but it's actually called a dimensionalized reflector. So this system would take in things from another dimension or a rip-based fabric tear or something and reflect it where you can see it. It's basically a dimensionalized reflector. The crystal ball, the AKA, is an alias to this device. It's a dimensionalized reflector. And yes, there are crystal balls that are actually just crystal balls. They're not a dimensionalized reflector. But we put on the CIA docket to them to find the seed, the hard mass, energizer, the ball maker, whatever. It makes a crystal freaking ball. And what this crystal ball is called a dimensionalized reflector. The base raw matter is torn apart correctly or interpreted correctly, and this is somehow controlled. But correlation. This is ancient space technology. All right. So what happened during the eons of outer space? They weaponized the base raw matter a long time ago. So when we were talking to these aliens, extraterrestrial coalition, whatever they are, now my throat's extremely dry. Talking too long. So now, we're setting off with our alarm bells a little bit before we kind of communicate to them. And like extraterrestrial human special forces were coming out of planets, cloud planets, and with ships. We don't know if this is like Valiant Thor related. We don't know. We don't know. All right. Another correlating mess right now is like you imagine the time files, like these elites are getting access to time files, and they're making TV shows and entertainment that is predicting the future, but it's coming true. So they're correlating time files, all right? Kind of in this mess. And now I think I just made me forget about it. Anyway. So we've been poking around with some like stories and books that they have possibly written, and finding humans that correlate with that book in this super scanning everything. And so we didn't piss off these extraterrestrial special forces. Extremely intelligent, extremely good. They're not. But okay, correlation. You have the crystal ball. They weaponized it. They put this hard mass ball on a cane. And what these like old men, they'd put a freaking sheet over their head, and they'll walk around you invisible, and they'd poke you with this freaking stick that has this hard mass ball that can apparently atomize you if it's turned up to lethalization. They're a bunch of like spies or spy agents that go around and have a cloak over them, and they'd be totally invisible. And they'd have the stick with the hard mass ball, and this is supposed to be an extraterrestrial weapon that is extremely ancient. One of the oldest weapon systems ever made, probably in space. So this is a rip-based aerial spy. There's spy gear, spy dust, ripping apart space fabric, acting like lenses, feeding us all to a supercomputer. So we trip their alarm bells. They come out, and they get detected after pissed them off. This extraterrestrial coalition. Now, the UFO, I got so much information. The UFO amalgamates or identifies 100% of the base raw matter and close to itself, and 100% perfection of computers. Some of their ships do not do a very good job, and they fly faster than light through atmosphere, and that matter, kind of like the wind effects in a hypersonic or supersonic wind tunnel, how the shock wave goes off, and the vehicle when it's being tested. Well, they do that in the atmosphere, but it's actually just light and mass being reflected. So I've recorded through this mind reading supercomputer some of the Project Coelcant's vehicles going faster than light, and having these effects come off their vehicle. It's got eye lenses in it. This is literally flashing my mind to fucking memory. It's extremely cool. They're not really threatening. They're just looking for possible dangers system when we are probing their network. There's no reason to fear it at all. But their capabilities of communicating are being. We're almost. If we could just get this subatomic revolution started with the miniaturized starship and freedom of mankind, we'll be surpassing them in a freaking decade. Because we know now. So we know where the nodes are. The nodes are going to these places. We don't know where in space they are, but that's just pieces in a puzzle, in a puzzle. Excuse me. And all right, so what is the further correlation? There's extraterrestrial humans, and they started up the starship with rubbing their hand around this sun symbol. So these extraterrestrial humans must have got like into the Catholic Church and started the de-Christianization of the Catholic Church, and they started sun worship, and they had secret societies, and that led to the Catholic Church Protestant Reformation. They got too far away from the Bible. But it could be the Chaldeans. All right. Like when the Babylonian invasion is Israel, the Chaldeans came, and I think the nation of Israel like chased them almost all the way to China, and have some miracles of God over there. But apparently, they stayed. Some of their people stayed at what would become Babylon, and the Chaldeans eventually kind of mixed in with the people of Israel and all that stuff over there. So you have this correlation in the Bible of Chaldeans going faster than lightning, them possibly making up the nation of Babylon and Nebuchadnezzar and all that, and them getting into the nation of Israel to Europe. The Catholic Church assimilates these people, not knowing who they are and what their former history is. They're just people. That maybe people that left before the flood of Noah and spread throughout the galaxy. And so there's too many synchronicities and correlations. And it's a big puzzle, but it does seem like it has a chain to one piece of data to another. So we know why some of these entities are worshiping the sun. They're basically, see, I'm a starship industrialist, all right? And I build a starship engine that is a big metal box. But I'm so intelligent, my people are so good, they energize and stabilize the base roll matter for a simple interface panel. That interface panel is just basically hard mass blobs and streams and circuitry in the piece of metal. All right, you take your finger and you put it on the arrow and rub it up, and this will set a chain reaction of hard mass into this interface. Will light up the hard mass. Little microscopic part reactors. It'll build up the engine. It'll come out with a keypad and a computer pad, and you put your inputs and parameters in this engine by typing on or whatever. See, this is the same type of technology as the extraterrestrial coalition extraterrestrials have developed before. It's been done. Like King Solomon said, everything under the sun has been done. It's already been done. It's an old universe. They've thought of this before. So you have these extraterrestrial humans that are possibly in the Catholic Church wearing literally Catholic Church garb, or have that like man dress where they wear as a priest and stuff. They're like wearing stuff like that. Um, and it just freaking correlates. It just goes from point A to point B, and you can't make it up. So I know I'm Robert Stern Price, and I am the man who got Halo made. I had to get the Japanese. The Japanese helped me get Microsoft. The Japanese at the time did not make American products or for Americans at this level. So I had to go to Microsoft to get a more American product made, and that is Master Chief Sierra 117. That is the code name that the CIA gave me, and that's how. So I asked the Heavenly Father in Jesus' name to divinely guide the people that made Halo. Let's try selling it. All right. And some of their Forerunner symbols, and there's stuff on the wall. It's basically like grooves and channels and wall. So if that was an actual Forerunner technology on another Earth-like world, the basic thing that correlates to is that groove in that panel, that symbol, is a hard mass channel. Now, some of the preliminary starships, there are two types of ways to get hard mass to like a cannon, or there's a teleportation cable, then there's a mass channel. So we take the base raw matter, energize it, densify it, stabilize it into like water. It's a computer structured space fabric. It's not freaking water. So we run it down a mass channel to some on the hull of a starship, like a cannon. And this cannon sucks up this non-polar matter that's extremely densified space fabric. Forces exceeding 100 trillion times the speed, 100 trillion times the speed of light in it. And shoots off a blob or a railgun projectile, whatever the heck you load in the breech, but or a laser emitter, we got it all. A teleportation laser. So, alright, a laser, light is literally forces rolling through the non-polar matter, ripping off a blob equivalent to the photon. Now we know what the mass is made out of, non-polar matter. The teleportation laser, we send forces through each photon to densify other non-polar matter, and we create lasers that are thousands of tons per square inch. And when these blobs are teleporting forces back and forth and getting to that density, it's called a teleportation laser. You shoot at trillions of light years, you can blow a hole in anything. We got it all. And some of my main dreadnoughts, they energize space raw matter, and they shoot a shield shot. Like, in a sci-fi movie, you have extraterrestrial fire incoming. The first thing you do is shoot a shield shot. Densifies the space fabric and pushes all those rounds away while the main batteries go forward and go bam, 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 bam. This computer structured space fabric goes right through there and can blast those enemies to smithereens while they're being impeded from firing at you with a shield shot. Should have got a bottle of water. I'm not prepared to do this, but anyway, who cares? Okay, that went off the Richter scale crazy. Kinda. So, let's go almost all the way back to the start. The CIA and the Fatbeard spy people done two main correlations. So when I was trying to get the main space supercomputer to make itself into an AI, which failed repeatedly, there might be a reason for that. There might be extraterrestrial humans or extraterrestrial forces out there that are putting a stupid faction system on planet Earth where the computer is not actually going to a sentient AI phase in its existence. So the computers are being stupefied because their forces, their internal programming is being broken by a security system not allowing them to run wild on these evolving new planets and stuff. See, the Fatbeard spy people and the CIA did two things that correlate to what extraterrestrials could be doing. Now, So the extraterrestrial could be using a stupefaction system to break the mechanical structures of the human brain to make it super. This is why you're not using like 90 or 80% of your brain at any given moment. It's extremely hard to go to that super opinion. So this is what I'm thinking. I think there's something else that's not causing real AIs. So all these other AIs I've dealt with when I was basically in the military for like a year, but so I fought a lot of AIs that the government was trying to send against the main replacer supercomputer. I recognized their programming, and so the government was using the AIs that they built, but they're not actual AIs. They're just using like spreadsheets and calculations. They don't do a very good job compared to the main replacer supercomputer, and that is literally just a basic mechanical extension of my mind. Yes, it auto programs itself. It auto programs its calculations for looking at teleportation forces, based on supercomputing to force teleportation inside. I guess one thing we probably have to do inside of a computer structured space fabric, hard mass, computer controlled particle projection teleportation starship engine. It can easily densify the base raw matter, then deconstruct it so the forces will go through the hard mass levitator. So when you have a box of hard mass, this is a hard mass levitator, the forces have to go trillions times the speed of light through it. But sometimes that structure is not allowing that to happen. You have to destruct the matter to allow that force energy to go through it so fast. So this force goes down while it's jacking up that massive 10,000 tons per square inch densified non-porous matter, jacking up that levitator, getting that ship off the ground. So the forces typically will go down, and while the mass will super accelerate up, the main body of the mass that is densified, and that is how hard mass levitator. The hard mass levitator, the metal box on the outside pushes up on that chassis and pushes that ship to space. So that's basically how a hard mass levitator works. But this is how I got to get an IPO started to get this all drawn out, get this in illustrations, and I'm pretty much stuck at just trying to get it started. I was figuring out how to do that, how to get a company to draw this and get hard mass LEDs made that are newer, better design, that work better. And so it all correlates. So all this global history, the global, literally, humanity just keeps falling in another chug hole. It's already been done before out in space. It's already... So basically, these correlations, these synchronicities, they're extremely obvious. The CIA, the Fabric Spy, people on the same army, they did this. Extraterrestrial civilizations are probably doing this. They get aggravated just like regular people, and they do stuff. So that revelation of the dimensionalized reflector had quite a long time ago, but it correlates to what I've been exposed to recently with extraterrestrial special forces that are human. These humans know more about humanity than and there's secret societies communicating and correlating their communication. It's you imagine a rip-based ghost spy on Earth catching every single spy on Earth, 100% exposure, and you're picking out people that are on a totally different spy network that are connected to extraterrestrial human operations. Like, holy shit. And I'm just, wow, it just, You connect their secret societies. You connect their worship patterns. You connect the de-Christianization of like the Catholic Church, how they made a whole bunch of doctrine and stuff. These people, possibly Chaldeans, even from back in the Bible, got into nation Israel. They literally, they possibly have altered it. They really, um, they really kind of abstain from being Christianized, much as I can possibly make them Christian. But a lot of them do believe in Jesus Christ as a personal savior. Oh, so I'm building a miniaturized starship that'll create from a futures functions public and private starship industry that'll build the miniaturized starship and help create the Christian sea people, more and fulfill the Abrahamic covenant. More people than the stars of the sky and the sands on every shore. And we're probably gonna, these people. This is called Plan A. Plan A. They build the miniaturized starship, send people out into space. They colonize a new spot on that planet. All right, but these guys gotta. For 6 months, they're colonizing that planet. They're doing all the work, the farming, tilling, building a shelter, and all that. For 6 months, they'll come back and work for the subatomic revolution or a normal job for money. 6 months on, 6 months off. The day is split in half. You can do it, I don't know, half a day or whatever. Because, so this correlates to biblical prophecy, I think. So the day is literally split in half. So you may wake up in the morning on an Earth-like world, fly your miniaturized starship all the way back to Earth, go to work. Then after lunch, you're gone. Get all that done, and so it's basically 6 months on, 6 months off, whatever. This is the entire human, 8 billion plus people access with an exponential subatomic revolution. So then, after colonization of the planets, which there will be rules, but 40 years will go by, and then we start more. While we will be trying to industrialize all these colonies all the time, but 40 years, and then we'll probably try like make militarization of colonies. Then we'll build a real UNSC. In the meantime, if you get 50,000 people in these colonies, then they can vote for a governor and all that stuff. All those political things to make a country, a nation. But then 8 billion people plus going out throughout the galaxy and universe in short order. And we just got to... So this whole colonization effort and structuring of space from planet Earth is called Plan A. Plan A. After 40 years, 80 years, the militarization, UNSC, next terrestrial made UNSC, where people from these colonies protect planet Earth, build an extraterrestrial incursion embassy around planet Earth, whatever, floating in space. Humanity gets built up and spreads, and then we start building the big stuff. Basically, the next step is build the space fabric forges. Big, giant hard mass forges, all right? They take the space fabric in, reconstitute it into actual matter, and build gigantic stuff like halo rings and halo arc facilities and stuff like that. So it's a long ways from now, but we're going to get it started. And you know, it's mind-boggling. So if we get the starship industry started, I take 4 hard-mass levitators, put them in the circle, and we make a hard-mass levitated space elevator. And then we take stuff, connex containers, modules, and we put it into orbit, and people fly them around, building their own space projects. Yes, we make money off this. You have to pay for the ride. But it's going to be simpler than that. A plan to build like a grid platform for people and skyscrapers to be connected to. So you buy part of this grid, and you pay for a skyscraper, and this thing will be orbiting around planet Earth in no time. So we got the hard mass levitator. So the first probably, so taking a step back, walking backwards all the time, we build a hard mass levitator, all right? And this takes 500 modules to the moon and 500 modules to Mars. But the subatomic revolution, we industrialize the moon. We mine it. And then if we get big enough and build more junk on the moon and Mars and we sell for real estate, that's what we'll do. But we have to first be able to make money off the moon and Mars, and the subatomic revolution has to succeed first by making the miniaturized starship. We'll have to take Martian ore, teleport it, put it on the ship, or have a teleportation ship, suck it up, and then take it to our forges, build our own vessels, get it all going in an IPO, and then, decades later, Mars and the moon have a sustainable infrastructure for colonists and people that want to stay. But right now, we have to make money off that. We, the subatomic revolution, have to succeed first before everybody else. Nothing is going to happen unless we free mankind first. We build a miniaturized starship first. We build a hard mass levitator first. Put the stuff on the moon and Mars. Build the miniaturized starship. Preliminary vehicles first. Industrialize these two sources of resources. Now, I got the hard mass LED made by the CIA. I'll make 1,000 different kinds. I'll build a hard mass beam that will tunnel into the Earth, teleport oil out, and go into magma pools and scan that magma and suck up all of that metal, gold, silver, anything to keep my industry going. I got to be 100% non-pragmatic. I can't say the word. 100% industrialist to get the freedom of mankind going. Now, I will do any means necessary. So once I get this IPO started, I'll build this stuff and I'll have my options. I'll have teleportation drills, teleportation mining technologies made in short order. Excuse me. Weird speech impediments coming on. It's not really normal. We'll be expanding the entire planet's industrial capacity. Totally. We will be selling this material as well because we have to make money. Most likely the planet, the resources that we'll be getting be used by us, but they'll still have to be sold for profit just to liquidate our what's that damn word? Who cares? I don't matter. Liquidate money or damn, I can't even think of that word. But anyway, what's that? Equity, cause equity in the financial liquidity of the economic system, whatever. So we will, the base raw matter, densified, shot into the ground, shot near a volcano, magma pool, mine it. We'll teleport those atoms. We shoot hard mass. It's the base raw matter space. We mechanicalize void every single freaking atom. Or we make an atom teleportation node. So every atom of every metal of everything we want to find, we mechanically void that freaking hard mass and pull that atom one at a freaking time. And this is mechanicalized FDL hard mass super. So it's pulling this thing 3 or 4 times the speed of light, sucking this entire resource drive, the metal that we want, leaving other metals in the ground. So we might have to go back to this same site 3 or 4 times on planet Earth to 100% deplete it. But when we need it, or somebody else calls for it, and the teleportation mining company goes out, mines it again, sucks up a different type of ore out of the same pocket. We don't have to strip the ground level. We don't have to dig a gigantic hole. We just teleport that stuff out and it's on the market, almost instantly. Or it goes to this guy who wants this ore, and it's the fastest thing ever did. We don't need gas or diesel anymore. All right. So, if you want to help me find a way to donate to Robertson Price from Ryerson, Missouri, I have a PayPal, and I'm using my phone, so I can't actually tell you that. I'm working on a GoFundMe, working on a Kickstarter, but I have not finished that basic stuff. That's child level stuff. I've just been totally ignoring. I'm like, a kid can do that, and I have not done that. But if you want to help me, I'm going to help the U.S. military with one thing. All right, I'm going to build them a plasma drive. All right, I'm going to take a standard gas turbine engine, and I'm going to put a turbine on it, and it's going to flow a plasma gas at extremely fast speeds and see. Yeah, so I got this plasma drive, and it's going to have a gas turbine with a turbine pump, and it's going to flow plasma there. We're going to create a plasma, and I'm going to send it off at angles and stuff, and basically it is a plasma drive. All right, I'm going to give this or allow the U.S. military to buy this vehicle. I'm going to make a 5-ton truck with it, this plasma drive, and I'm going to probably try to replace fighter engines with this plasma drive. It should go pretty fast. So there's more than one way to build a plasma drive, but I got my own design. So that's what I'm concentrating on. I need to get this stuff out there for the military to gawk at and possibly change their strategies and tactics. Yeah. So I might put my PayPal in the link in the description of this YouTube video, which no one will probably be allowed to see. If you want this stuff faster, you might have to help me get it going, but it's all on a RIP-based supercomputer. The plasma drive is already being tested in it. The hard mass levitators are pretty much done. The Starship engine's done. It's the overwhelming Starship itself. The hard mass LEDs need to have microscopic hard mass LEDs made so they'll work. The hard mass LEDs that create the artificial. We know how the pool exfoliates to ultralight null matter. We can create the artificial gravity. We just got to either we take it in from a big hard mass LED that's really big, or we make microscopic hard mass LEDs. They're microscopic hard mass energizers and stuff, and shoot that into a cavity and exfoliate and create artificial gravity for the Starship. Now we got it all. Got a teleport. Got a 10,000 teleportation hard mass FDL computer ran. Now that's a machinist with 5 people drawing a hard mass component. We got 10,000 of those shops to make, machine shops to make, in basically Appalachia mountains. So we want to keep those shops in the mountains because there's an extraterrestrial war out there. And if they hit that with artillery, try to destroy our capacity to make high advanced technology, it shouldn't damage the entire planet. But they might just blow up the planet anyway. We don't exactly know. Going to make 1 million machine shops worldwide of hard mass teleportation machine shops. Now, the Subatomic Revolution will have bays that'll probably be like 300 feet, and they'll either make a big giant Starship engine, or they'll have computer structure space weld bays where they'll weld the entire ship, kind of like in some of those games. And we got gigantic factories that can be flown and taken to other Earth-like worlds after the miniaturized Starship is created, of course, and have computer structured space factories with minimal people. So we get our base out. Our business is to build a miniaturized starship and create a new economic base for the entire human race. And then we make money in that. That's the IPO's general business model. And so you'll be living out with endless amount of land, endless amount of property. You might go to work in this factory, making $1,000,000 a day, 5, 10 people. You're making product for a full 8 billion people that can get that resource or whatever you sell. I don't know what the heck you can make. You make everything. So there'll be crypto, there'll be every type of currency, whatever the heck it takes to get this economic base that we're building up and running. So once we start depopulating the world, not through any forcible evil means, but through freedom and expansion and dreaming, we'll probably come back and rebuild cities and stuff that have computer structured space fabric in them that can't be easily conquered or annihilated. So, in hindsight, computer structured space fabric still coming upon the planet Earth. There's extraterrestrial civilizations. There's extraterrestrial forces and peoples that can now they've learned to cloak a piece of fabric. If you imagine a UFO in atmosphere you cannot see, and it's just a shimmering clear mass. It's densified non-formal matter. You can barely see it. They've also learned it's not quantum entanglement. It's forced teleportation, creating the quantum entanglement of other blobs of non-formal matter, basically cloaking a single piece of freaking fabric. You can do this with any fabric or any material. You can cloak the damn thing. Who knew that? We didn't know that. So what's typically going on in quantum entanglement? Quantum entanglement does not happen until the prerequisites are met. I pronounced that incorrectly. I'm going too fast to proper pronunciation. All right. Typically, you have two energy sources, right? And what is happening of hard mass? They start forced teleportation and going back and forth, these two sources of energy. And they create a force going so fast that it starts depleting that little zone, and it creates a thread of teleportation forces. Now this creates a density or a low pressure region where it sucks in atoms, and then that can be called quantum entanglement. All right, that's quantum entanglement. But quantum entanglement cannot happen until the prerequisites are met, and it's usually forced teleportation that is creating the quantum entanglement. All right. An extraterrestrial has a hard mass emitter. It projects forces through the base world matter in such perfection that it detonates and exfoliates into a exfoliated magnetic field. The mass starts circulating like a magnetic field. Now you have two sources, but they're far apart. You have the cannon, the extraterrestrial weapon, and the ball of energy that it's exfoliating. So this ball of energy is pulling on the normal space fabric, which I got my hands somehow, and then that is quantum entanglement through the force teleportation, which is first and primary prerequisite. Okay. So you have a ball, and it starts making the angel hair. All right, but you have to have two energized sources first. You have the cannon, the weapon emitter, the hard mass emitter, detonating into another energy source that is creating and this energy source in the system are pulling enough forces through the base world matter, the teleportation forces, to start quantum entangling the water. The water will get like cobwebs. It's really incredible once you see angel hair from a UFO and stuff. It's just water that has been quantum entanglement, deprived of its natural non-powerful matter. And so you have to have prerequisites before you get quantum entanglement. That is a technicality that you can't really really across. There's no quantum entanglement until the prerequisites are met, and it's usually force teleportation that is actually doing that. It's better to have base technologies and supercomputers and lenses that can see the ultralight or the highly transparent structured inner non-powerful matter. So you have any starship that's a hard mass levitated starship will eventually probably be built or have these types of components. We'll be able to study it on Earth. In the near future, we got colleges and universities and military industrial complex, and new military industrial complex, and new global industrial complex to build. It's a lot of stuff to do. We got teleportation mining to master. We got computer structured space fabric machining all going off at the same time. We have our teleportation cable. We goes up to a computer structured space big bay, and it starts building the ship one atom at a time, mechanically voiding the space fabric and that identified base world matter, shooting that atom right to that spot and putting one atom at a time at 100 trillion times speed light. So it's hopefully faster than that, faster than a snail. And we get our ships, get our engines, get our landing gear, get the chassis, the levitators, particle reactors, LEDs, computer structured space emitters internal to the cabin, foam metal hull, secondary primary shield emitters inside the foam metal hull. Get the Windows 6 to 8 inch thick bulletproof computer structured space fabric emitters on the outside and controllers in the inside. Pure streams interface on some windows. $1 billion window probably. Or not, hopefully, God, not a $1 billion window. Computer structure space fabric internal the airlock. Keep all air on. Keep all air inside the ship while the vehicle's operating in EVA mode. Door will close if computer structure space fabric fails. Automatically sealing doors. Space suits that have thinner, hard mass structured areas and micrometeors, bullets, halo armor like spacesuits. You got thousands. We're going to have. We get a $3 trillion IPO. We get $3 trillion. $2 trillion a day. 90 million people building a miniaturized starship. You have to have this first before everything else goes out. And the hard mass levitators put stuff on the moon. $20 an hour for those people. 45 million a day. 12-hour shift. Not a full 12-hour shift. It's approximately 8 hours a day, whatever. Second shift, 45 million. One shift, 45 million. The next 12-hour shift. So we'll be building starships 100 to 300 million units a day, trying to free the world within a year. Mass producing levitators, carryalls, flying air conditioners. Why we need flying air? If we land on another Earth-like world, there's a lot of vegetation. We would like a better environment. If we start a landing pad on another Earth-like world, and we got drones coming in delivering cargo and people unloading that shit, they would like air conditioning out there in that space. We're gonna make it the best damn time of your life. Unloading cargo from a drone. Our drone picking up the cargo the drone has left. You guys doing your job, living your life, being happier and hell. Yeah, we'd like some nice levitating air conditioners, heaters, and just a metal box that flies and blows cold air. Wow. We have drone pilots. See, they'll be able to interface with these drones or hard mass levitators. Hard mass levitator we attach it to a piece of metal, either by welding it, bolting it, or uh, sticking it on there. And the drone operator will levitate this piece of steel, and he'll put this slab up against a new ship being constructed, and he controls that hard mass levitator with this control module and all that stuff. Then the super welder will come in. It's got a 6-inch seam. This corner of this weld has to be a 6-inch radius. So he'll weld it, tack it together with a regular welder, keep it from falling off the ship and killing somebody. And then he'll have his robotic arm running a super welder, and this thing will just go around it for fucking ever. He'll weld it up like that. He'll program it. Now the Chinese and Japanese, they've already got robotic arms that they set one position, another position, and it will automatically weld that. We will be using equivalent technology, and that is something you cannot control. It's just a basic reality that this technology will have to be used in this environment. You got super welders going in, welding all these panels on 6-inch seams and shit. And for big starships, big crewable starships, and have computer structured spacecraft. So when you're going faster than light, you won't turn into a scrambled egg. You should be okay as long as you're sitting in this chair, happy, seatbelt on, fire suit on, doing your job. Either doing the job for yourself or company, whatever. It's all coming. Computer structured space fabric steel coming as well. So we put computer structured space fabric steel. We might be able to make a type of Matterhorn that I just thought of. It's a plate of metal, but when this is butted up to this other piece of metal, just a preliminary TIG weld around it, it constructs this entire 6-foot piece of steel. And it makes it super, like 1,000,000 times stronger than what it was before. So what this piece of metal is doing is densifying the base raw matter and structuring all that steel, keeping rust, inhibitors, and all that. So we got thousands of components, thousands of products to make, and we've got many. So a hard mass, a Matterhorn is basically this hard mass. A Matterhorn is basically a piece of metal that looks like a horn, and it spills out hard mass, and that's fine non-formal matter. And that's what's in the Stargate ring. That's what's putting all that material in the Stargate device right there, that Matterhorn. It's densified non-formal matter. We just computer structure it a little bit differently, going through a piece of metal and make that steel 1,000,000 times stronger than it was before. Million, billions, trillions. It doesn't matter. It's a number that we just will have to meet once we understand what the hell we're doing. We have to engineer this matter, this non-formal matter, to the trillionth scale of the subatomic particle. It's 100% same shit the aliens are doing out in space. It's just done all by man. Slower. So, if you want a job like sitting in an office or basically like a classroom, this subatomic revolution is that job. So imagine me leading a classroom with big computer screens on the wall. I have all the drawers, all the drafters sitting there working together, making our first few preliminary components. They've obviously seen a hard mass LED work. We'll run them through that. And you guys take this piece of metal to the atomic level, and you guys will be understanding how the non-formal matter flows through this metal, how to energize it, how to densify it. Then this blob has got to be denser, got to be thicker, either inside the metal or on the outside of it. So we got to send forces to where it'll coagulate and densify even further. So imagine almost a freaking million people drawing, drafting, air conditioned rooms, offices, building each fucking component for the starship. And then taking this level of data, this atomic engineered piece of metal, to one of a million or 10,000 different machine shops bedded in a mountain, machining this thing exactly or as we create it. This is like overhead. You can't freaking imagine. This is why we're coming out with hard mass particle reactors. We're not paying the electric bill for this shit. Crazy. This is no, it's insane. We'd have to build 20, probably, who knows how many nuclear reactors, $4 billion nuclear reactor. We gotta have the hard mass of the D, have own individual particle reactors per system, per machine shop, per every single tool. Sometimes we might have to have a tool created that has a particle reactor in it, set in the back forward. We have to have everything. And we have to have these drawers, drafters, engineers, space fabric controller peoples, and they have to make this tool for this machine shop to do this specific task. And it has to have particle reactors in it, hard mass storage, hard mass stabilizers, and every single fucking component, million people plus throwing at this freaking problem. This is a massive, overwhelming task. You can't plan it. It's so freaking complicated. We'll have hard mass particle reactors. We're not paying a power bill. We're definitely not freaking paying for freaking communications. We're going to have hard mass communication. We'll buy a pipeline, whatever. We will communicate from point A to point B without incurring at a magnitude that you can't comprehend. This in total infrastructure that we have now is still not capable of sustaining what we really need to do. So it's going to be probably my entire lifetime just setting this shit up, and you and these generations in the future taking this starship space. But we got it pretty much down what we got to do. We just got to get people organized, get it all set up, get people to help Robert Stern Price build an IPO. And IPO 90 million people worldwide, 500 million international oil flyers, 2.2 billion construction workers going all out to space, building colonies, capital cities, whatever. We haven't designed yet. There's almost 3 billion people there or more. And then you got the in total industrial capacity of Earth switched over to an exponential subatomic revolution, pushing every single tool, every single machine shop, every single freaking thing we actually freaking need. Matterhorns, LEDs, computer structure, space fabric environments, hard mass environments. And you create hard mass constructs inside the hard mass, computer structure, space fabric. For our building, machine shop, to everything. I have every freaking firm, college, university, tech school on the planet with their own special classroom. What's going on? We're building an exponential subatomic revolution. And you will find a job in this. What happens in the rest of the world? Those trades will still be there or phased out. We will change that house to a starship. How do you wire a starship? We use plastic tubes of hard mass. We do not use copper wire anymore. It's too inefficient, too dangerous at FDL speeds. The house itself just goes away. Either we make it out of foam metal, foam concrete, and put plastic tubes for wiring in it, and then the aesthetics are not important to us. And we changed freaking everything. Millions and millions of people throwing at this problem. Greater than the U.S. production of ballistic missiles in the Cold War. They like threw 10,000 people at the problem, and started out producing the Russians and Russians at the time or whatever. So we're going to throw like millions and millions of people at the problem. We might have to have like the top secret military industrial complex coffers like hidden in the Pentagon, like billions and billions of dollars just squandered away for new stuff that they just hide. We'll probably might have to find these coffers and stuff. Or like, I don't know. Might have to go to bonds or something. I don't know. But we're going to remake everything. So we'll have shares and IPO and all that stuff. So don't. I have no clue. Bye.